Right now, look around the room you're sitting in. It feels permanent, doesn't it? The electricity hums, the internet connects you to the world, and the social contract holds everything together like invisible glue. But I want you to perform a mental exercise with me, one that might terrify you, but will absolutely save your life. Imagine that glue dissolving. Not in a week, not in a month, but in the next 60 minutes. The emergency broadcast system screams and then cuts to dead silence. The grid flickers and dies. And outside your window, the sound of civilized traffic is replaced by the roar of 1,000 engines all trying to escape at the exact same second. In that precise moment of realization, when the architecture of society collapses, 99% of the population is going to do exactly what they've been programmed to do by Hollywood movies and panic instincts. They are going to run. They are going to pack their cars with useless junk, flood the highways, and turn the interstate into the world's largest, deadliest parking lot. They are running toward an imaginary safety that does not exist. And because they are predictable, they are already dead. They just don't know it yet. They will perish not from radiation, or bioweapons, or starvation, but from the fatal disease of predictability. But you are not going to be part of that stampede. While they are fighting over the last loaf of bread at the grocery store, or burning their last gallon of gas to reach a cabin they haven't seen in 10 years, you are going to do something counterintuitive, something cold, something brilliant. You are going to stay. But you're not staying in your house. You are going to walk calmly into specific buildings that everyone else is ignoring, structures that effectively become nuclear-grade fortresses the instant the evacuation order is given. This is the secret that no survival manual tells you. Chaos creates vacuums. When the herd moves right, they leave massive, strategic voids on the left. These aren't bunkers. They aren't military bases hidden on a map. These are mundane, everyday buildings that you drive past every single morning without a second glance. Yet, hidden beneath their boring facades is accidental engineering so perfect for a collapse scenario. It's almost as if they were built for the apocalypse. We are talking about locations with independent power grids, industrial-grade water filtration, fortress-level physical security, and unlimited resource sustainability. And the best part? They will be empty. This is the vacuum protocol. It is the art of occupying the high-value infrastructure that the desperate masses are too panicked to see. Today, we are not just listing locations. We are downloading a new operating system for your survival. We are going to unlock the 5 specific urban structures that transform into strongholds when society unspools. I'm going to show you how to identify them, how to breach them when the locks are dead, and how to turn them into long-term survival engines that don't just keep you alive, but put you in a position of dominance. Forget the fantasy of the lone wolf running into the woods with a tactical backpack. That's a suicide mission. The real apocalypse belongs to the logistics expert. It belongs to the person who can look at a city map and see the invisible layer of survival infrastructure that is hiding in plain sight. So you have a choice to make in this next second. You can scroll away, join the herd, and hope luck is on your side when the lights go out. Or you can commit to the next 20 minutes. Learn to see the world through the eyes of a strategic predator and own the emptiness that everyone else leaves behind. If you're still here, you're already part of the 1%. Let's initiate the protocol. Before we reveal the first fortress, you have to understand the psychology of the stampede. Why does the vacuum protocol work? It works because human beings in crisis suffer from tunnel vision. Their brains revert to a lizard state that seeks 3 things: familiar locations, social validation, and obvious consumables. They run to mom's house. They follow the taillights in front of them. They loot the pharmacy. They do not analyze structural integrity. They do not calculate caloric sustainability. They do not assess thermal mass or defensive geometry. This cognitive blindness is your greatest weapon. It clears the board for you. While they evacuate the city, draining it of threats, you are moving against the current, stepping into the voids they've created. You aren't just surviving. You are upgrading your lifestyle in the middle of hell. Now burn this into your memory. The first location is not a bunker. It's not underground. In fact, it's often the most visible, towering structure in your commercial district. And yet, to the panicked mind, it looks like a tomb of useless junk. But to you, it's a vertical castle. Safe Zone Alpha, the vertical labyrinth. Let's talk about the first location. It's the multi-story, climate-controlled self-storage facility. You drive past these concrete monoliths every day. To the average person, to the desperate looter in hour 2 of the collapse, this building screams worthless. They see it as a tomb for old mattresses, forgotten holiday decorations, and boxes of tax returns from 1998. They see junk. But you need to see it for what it truly is. A pre-built, compartmentalized fortress designed to keep people out and protect what's inside. Here's why this specific type of building, and I mean specifically the multi-story, indoor variety, not the drive-up garage type, is your first strategic stronghold. It comes down to one word: denial. These buildings are accidental masterpieces of defensive architecture. Think about the layout. There is usually only one main entrance, maybe a loading dock in the back. That is your entire perimeter defense. Inside, the geography becomes a nightmare for an attacker and a dream for a defender. You have narrow hallways that act as natural choke points. You have heavy, industrial-grade steel doors on every single unit. You have concrete floors and ceilings that make vertical breaching almost impossible without heavy demolition equipment. In a siege scenario, you take the top floor. Why? Because gravity is the ultimate force multiplier. To get to you, a threat has to breach the main door, navigate a maze of hallways, find a specific stairwell you haven't barricaded, climb 5 flights of stairs carrying their gear, and then face you at the top of a fatal funnel where you hold the high ground. You don't just have a hideout. You have a kill box. But let's go deeper into the invisible utility of this location. Most people don't realize that these climate-controlled facilities are built with industrial insulation and ventilation systems designed to maintain a steady temperature and humidity regardless of the weather outside. When the grid goes down and the residential houses are freezing or baking, this thermal mass retains its temperature for days, even weeks. It is a passive survival shelter. And here is the tactical gap that most survivalists miss: the roof. The roof of a commercial storage facility is typically flat, massive, and accessible only from the inside maintenance hatches. This isn't just a roof. It is your observation deck and your water collection system. A 10,000 square foot flat roof can harvest thousands of gallons of rainwater in a single storm. With a few tarps and some basic plumbing knowledge, you aren't just hiding in a box. You are sitting on top of a renewable water source that the mob on the street doesn't even know exists. While they are fighting over plastic bottles at the gas station, you are gravity-feeding rainwater into your filtration system from 5 stories up. Furthermore, the stealth factor here is absolute. In a collapse, hungry people look for grocery stores. Sick people look for pharmacies. Violent people look for gun shops. Nobody looks for a storage unit. You are essentially hiding inside a gray man suit the size of a city block. You could have a generator running, food cooking, and a group of 10 people living on the 4th floor, and from the street level, the building looks completely dead. Silence is security. And in a storage facility, silence is built into the walls. Safe Zone Bravo, the Green Fortress now. Let's move to the second location. If the storage facility is your bunker, this next location is your factory. It is the Craft Brewery or micro distillery. When the looting starts, the mob is going to smash the windows of the liquor store to grab vodka and whiskey. They are thinking about intoxication. They are thinking about numbing the pain. They are short-sighted. You are going to bypass the liquor store entirely and head straight for the production facility. Why? Because you understand the difference between a product and a process. A brewery is not just a place that makes beer. It is a biological reactor for survival. It solves the 3 most critical problems of long-term collapse: calories, water, and medicine. Let's start with the calorie math, because starvation is the clock that is always ticking. Every brewery sits on tons, literally tons of grain: malted barley, wheat, rye. To a looter, this looks like birdseed. To you, it is raw, energy-dense carbohydrate. A single 50-pound sack of grain contains roughly 80,000 calories. That is enough to keep an adult alive for 40 days. And a medium-sized brewery doesn't just have one sack. They have pallets of them. Do the math. You aren't securing a meal. You are securing a year's worth of life for your entire group. You can eat it as porridge, grind it into flour for bread, or sprout it for vitamins. But the grain is just the beginning. The real gold here is the water infrastructure. Brewing beer requires water that is purer than what comes out of your tap. To achieve this, breweries install industrial-grade filtration systems, commercial reverse osmosis units, massive carbon filters, and UV sterilization arrays. When the municipal water treatment plants fail and the tap water turns into a toxic sludge of sewage and runoff, the brewery is the one place in the city with the hardware to turn river water, rainwater, or even questionable puddle water into liquid gold. You are not just scavenging water. You are becoming the water baron of your district. And then there is the chemistry. This is the gap that separates the prepper from the warlord. Fermentation produces ethanol. If you are in a distillery, or if you know how to rig a simple pot still using the brewery's kettles and copper piping, you have the ability to manufacture high-proof alcohol. In a world without antibiotics, alcohol is your primary antiseptic. It sterilizes wounds. It sterilizes medical instruments. It creates hygiene. But beyond medicine, alcohol is fuel. High-proof ethanol can run engines. It can be used for cooking. It can be used for heating. And perhaps most importantly, in a barter economy, alcohol is liquid currency. When paper money is worthless, a pint of vodka or a bottle of medical-grade disinfectant will buy you ammunition, protection, or labor. By controlling a brewery, you aren't just surviving. You are controlling the supply chain of the post-collapse economy. The physical structure of a brewery is also a tactical advantage. These places are built to house heavy machinery. The floors are reinforced concrete with drains already installed perfect for sanitation. The fermentation tanks are made of thick stainless steel. Have you ever tried to shoot through a stainless steel tank filled with liquid? It's effective cover. You can fortify the brewing floor, turning the tanks into ballistic shields while you work. So while the rest of the city is fighting over the last can of beans, you are securing a facility that gives you unlimited water, years of food, and the ability to manufacture fuel and medicine. You are moving from the bottom of the food chain to the top. Let's escalate the strategy. While the first two locations secure your biological needs, food, water, and shelter, the third location secures the one asset that becomes more valuable than gold when the world goes dark: intelligence. In a collapse, silence is the enemy. You don't know where the riots are moving. You don't know if the fires are spreading toward you. You are blind. And in a tactical environment, blindness is a death sentence. That is why you need to secure the intelligence tower. We are talking about the astronomy, meteorology, or atmospheric science buildings on university campuses. These structures are not just classrooms. They are purpose-built observation platforms. Architects place them on the highest geographical points of the campus to give telescopes and weather radar a clear line of sight to the horizon. That operational necessity becomes your tactical salvation. From the roof of a 10-story atmospheric science building, your visual horizon expands to a 12-mile radius. You can see smoke columns from burning districts hours before the fire reaches you. You can track the movement of refugee columns or hostile groups on the interstate while they are still miles away. You aren't just reacting to threats, you are predicting them. But the true power of this location isn't just optical. It's electronic. These buildings are designed to listen to the universe, which means they are packed with high-gain antennas, radio telescopes, and spectrum analyzers. When the internet dies and the cell towers go offline, the electromagnetic spectrum will be the only way to know what is happening in the outside world. With the equipment found in these labs, you can intercept shortwave emergency broadcasts, ham radio traffic from other survivors, and potentially even unencrypted military or police comms. You become the NSA of the wasteland. Furthermore, consider the power infrastructure. Sensitive scientific experiments like long-term atmospheric monitoring or deep space observation cannot tolerate power interruptions. A flicker in the grid could ruin months of data. Therefore, these buildings are often equipped with robust, independent backup power systems, diesel generators with large fuel tanks, massive battery banks for smoothing voltage, and increasingly, rooftop solar arrays. While the rest of the city is plunged into darkness, you have the electricity to charge radios, run lights, and power the electronic locks that secure your perimeter. And do not underestimate the value of the physical library often found within these departments. If the cloud evaporates, human knowledge reverts to what is printed on paper. These buildings house technical manuals, topographical maps, and engineering texts that will teach you how to rebuild, how to navigate, and how to survive. You are securing the sum of human knowledge in a fortress of concrete and steel. Now, let's talk about the fourth location. This is where the amateurs get separated from the professionals. The amateur worries about acquiring gear. The professional worries about maintaining it. Entropy is the silent killer of the apocalypse. Your generator will break. Your water pump will fail. Your fortified door will need repairs. If you cannot fix what you own, you don't own it. You are just borrowing it from time. This brings us to Safe Zone Delta, the commercial HVAC and refrigeration repair workshop. When the stampede hits, the mob will loot the sporting goods stores for tents and flashlights. They will loot the hardware stores for hammers and nails. Let them. You are going to head to the industrial park on the edge of town, to the nondescript metal building with the HVAC vans parked out front. You are walking into a fabrication depot that rivals a military engineering base. Inside, you won't just find tools. You will find the means of production. We are talking about MIG and TIG welders capable of joining heavy steel plates to armor your vehicles or seal off entry points. We are talking about pipe threaders and benders that allow you to build sophisticated, high-pressure water and irrigation systems from scrap metal. You will find sheet metal brakes to fabricate roofing, defensive shielding, or wood stove chimneys. But the real treasure here is the raw material inventory. These shops sit on spools of copper tubing, the antimicrobial metal that is essential for distilling water, alcohol, or fuel. They possess tanks of compressed gases, oxygen, acetylene, nitrogen, and refrigerants. If you understand even basic thermodynamics, which you can learn from the manuals on the shelf, you know that a compressed gas system can be repurposed to create pneumatic weapons, power tools, or even improvised cooling systems to preserve food without electricity. Think about the motors. A commercial HVAC shop is full of heavy-duty electric motors from compressors and fans. In a post-grid world, a motor is just a generator running in reverse. With a little mechanical aptitude, you can scavenge these magnets and coils to build wind turbines or hydroelectric generators that are far more robust than the plastic junk you buy on Amazon. And look at the building itself. These workshops are often constructed with cinder blocks and heavy steel roll-up doors to protect the expensive inventory from theft. They are located in industrial zones that have low population density, meaning fewer zombies or desperate neighbors to deal with in the initial chaos. You have wide-open bays to pull your vehicles inside, hiding them from sight and allowing you to work on them in secret. While the rest of the world is fighting with sticks and stones, you are in a machine shop forging the tools of the new world. Safe Zone Echo. The unreachable sanctum now. We arrive at the final fallback. This is the location you retreat to when the city is burning, when the mobs are tearing through residential neighborhoods, and when every other option has been compromised. It is the panic room you didn't have to build. It is the document vault room found in title companies and corporate archive facilities. Everyone knows about bank vaults. And because everyone knows about them, they are death traps. In a collapse, banks are magnets for violence. Raiders will siege them for cash, gold, and deposit boxes. You are going to ignore the banks. Instead, you are going to look for the boring beige office buildings near the courthouse or in the quiet professional districts. You are looking for the places that store paper. Why? Because legal documents, property deeds, and corporate records are worth millions of dollars to the businesses that own them. To protect this paper from fire, flood, and theft, these companies build vaults that rival the security of a Federal Reserve branch. But unlike a bank, absolutely nobody is coming here during a riot. Structurally, these vaults are concrete bunkers inserted into the skeleton of a standard office building. We are talking about 6 to 12 inches of reinforced concrete on all 6 sides, walls, floor, and ceiling. The doors are not just steel. They are fire-rated industrial barriers designed to withstand temperatures of 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 hours. They have multi-point locking mechanisms that extend steel bars into the frame on all sides. When you lock that door from the inside, you are effectively sealing yourself inside a monolith. Think about the tactical reality of this. A mob can burn down a house, they can ram a truck through a storefront. But they cannot burn you out of a fire-rated concrete box. They cannot shoot through the walls. And without heavy demolition equipment and hours of uninterrupted time, they cannot breach the door. It is the ultimate denial of access. Furthermore, these vaults are designed for preservation. That means they often have independent, dedicated climate control systems to regulate humidity and temperature, keeping the air breathable and cool even if the building around you is sweltering. The shelves are industrial-grade steel, perfect for organizing your long-term food and water supplies. And the silence? It is absolute. You could be sleeping securely inside while chaos rages, just on the other side of the wall, completely undetected. The The stealth factor here is your greatest armor. To a looter, a title company looks like a boring office full of cubicles and paperwork. It registers as zero value. They will walk right past your fortress to get to the electronics store down the street. You are hiding in plain sight, protected by the psychology of boredom. This is not just a hiding spot. It is a hard reset button for your survival. The final choice: predator or prey. So now you have the map. You have the vertical labyrinth, storage, the green fortress, brewery, the intelligence tower, university, the fabrication depot, workshop, and the unreachable sanctum, title vault. These are not theoretical locations, they are real. They are in your city right now. You have probably driven past 3 of them today without realizing that you were looking at your salvation. But knowledge without action is just trivia. And in a survival scenario, trivia gets you killed. The stampede is coming. It is a mathematical certainty. Whether it is triggered by an economic collapse, a grid failure, or a geopolitical event, there will come a moment when the delicate fabric of society tears. In that moment, the timeline splits. Timeline A is the path of the 99%. It is the path of panic. It is the path of the man who waits until the sirens start to think about water. It is the path of the family stuck in a gridlock on the interstate, watching their gas gauge hit empty while smoke rises on the horizon. It is the path of the victim. Timeline B is the path of the 1%. It is your path. It is the path of the vacuum protocol. While the world screams, you are silent. While they run, you position. You move with the cold confidence of a predator who knows exactly where the safe zones are. You don't compete for resources. You occupy the means of production. You don't beg for information. You control the high ground. You don't hope for safety. You engineer it, so here is your mission, right now today. Do not close this video and go back to sleep. Open a new tab. Pull up Google Maps. I want you to find these 5 locations within a 5-mile radius of your home. Pin them. Plan your routes. Go visit them physically. Walk into the lobby of the storage facility and check the stairwell access. Drive past the HVAC shop and look for the fence line. This is reconnaissance. It is free, it is legal, and it is the only insurance policy that actually pays out when the world ends. The vacuum is waiting. The fortresses are empty. The question is, when the herd stampedes, will you be trampled, or will you step into the shadows and own the city? The choice is yours. Class dismissed.